Preston, a curious 10-year-old, loved adventures. He devoured tales of explorers and knights, his imagination always running wild. Sawyer, his 6-year-old brother, had an infectious laughter that brightened even the gloomiest days. With unruly blonde hair and boundless energy, Sawyer followed Preston everywhere. Together, they transformed their backyard into jungles and their treehouse into a castle. They battled dragons, overgrown zucchini, rescued damsels, their mother, and unearthed treasures, shiny pebbles. Life was a grand adventure for Preston and Sawyer, filled with laughter and mischief. Their faithful companion Reecie, a sassy King Charles cavalier, was always by their side. Reecie was more than a pet. She was their confidant and partner in crime. With her loyalty and a nose for trouble, Reecie was vital to their dynamic duo. The day had been a whirlwind of excitement. Preston and Sawyer spent the afternoon transforming their backyard into a pirate ship. As the sun set, their mother called them in, and the backyard fell silent. After dinner, the boys retreated to their bedroom, still buzzing with excitement. A full moon illuminated their room, painting silver streaks across their faces. The night held a different kind of magic. A subtle change in the air sent a shiver down Reese's spine. Her ears perked up and she nudged Preston's hand. He stirred, glancing at the clock. It was past bedtime, yet sleep evaded him. "What is it, girl?" he mumbled, scratching behind Reese's ears. Outside, an owl hooted, the sound strangely close. Reecie trotted towards the window, her nails clicking against the floor. Intrigued by Reese's behavior, Preston sat up. Sawyer murmured in his sleep, oblivious to the mystery. Reecie let out a soft bark, her eyes fixated on something outside. Preston joined her at the window, noticing an ethereal glow in the backyard. A shimmering portal of swirling colors pulsed with light. For a moment, Preston was frozen, struggling to comprehend the sight. Reecie barked again, more insistent, urging him towards the door. The portal seemed to beckon them, promising adventure. "Sawyer, wake up," Preston whispered, shaking his brother. "You won't believe this," Sawyer grumbled but was captivated by the sight. The lure of the unknown proved too strong to resist. The boys, hand in hand, followed Reecie towards the portal. The air shimmered around them, the colors intensifying. They stepped through, their senses overwhelmed by the strangeness. With trepidation and excitement, Preston and Sawyer crept towards the back door. Reecie danced around their feet, her excitement palpable. The portal's hum intensified, resonating in their bones. Each step fueled their curiosity. Preston cautiously opened the door. The night air was silent, the only sound their shallow breaths. The backyard was awash in a kaleidoscope of colors. Preston stepped outside, Sawyer clinging to his hand. The air crackled with energy, sending a tingle through their bodies. It was as if they had stepped into a painting. Reecie bounded ahead, disappearing into the swirling colors. "Reecie!" Sawyer cried out, worried. Reecie reappeared, urging them to follow. Hesitantly, Preston and Sawyer followed Reecie towards the portal. The air shimmered and swirled around them. It felt like walking through a rainbow. They found themselves on the other side, senses overwhelmed. The familiar scents were replaced by exotic aromas. The night sky blazed with unfamiliar constellations. Their backyard was now a fairy tale landscape. Towering trees with iridescent leaves reached towards the sky. The air buzzed with the hum of unseen insects. A path of stardust beckoned them deeper. Neither boy spoke, minds struggling to process the impossible. Sawyer whispered, "I think we're in a dream." Preston, caught up in the magic, hoped they might be. Preston wanted to dismiss his brother's words. He searched for a logical explanation, but the evidence surrounded them. The air thrummed with unseen energy. "Maybe," Preston whispered, his gaze darting around. Reecie trotted down the path of stardust, urging them to follow. The wind rustled the luminous leaves, creating a symphony of whispers. "Come on, Preston," Sawyer urged, eyes sparkling with excitement. "Let's explore." He tugged at his brother's hand. The pull of the unknown proved too strong to resist. With Reecie leading the way, the brothers followed the path. The stardust path led them up a gentle slope. A magnificent luminous tree appeared ahead. Its light pulsed with an inner rhythm. "Where do you think it goes?" Sawyer asked, awe in his voice. He clung to his brother's hand, eyes wide. Preston, though afraid, tried to appear brave. "I don't know," he admitted, "but Reecie seems to know where she's going." Reecie sniffed at the tree's trunk, her nose twitching. Reecie bounded onto the swirling staircase of stardust. Preston exchanged a nervous glance with Sawyer. "Ready?" Preston asked. Sawyer nodded eagerly. Hand in hand, they followed Reecie up the staircase. The air thrummed with energy, the scent of honeysuckle and cinnamon. The world below shrank, the trees a sea of shimmering green. The stars seemed to draw closer. The wind sang through the branches. "It's like we're climbing to the stars," Sawyer said. He pointed upwards, where the branches merged with the sky. "Do you think we'll reach the moon?" Sawyer asked. Preston, caught up in the magic, hoped they might. They continued their ascent, hearts pounding with anticipation. Reaching a platform of shimmering vines, the brothers paused. The fantastical landscape stretched out before them. The air shimmered with an otherworldly light. The silence was broken by the soft whisper of the wind. The stars were thousands of fireflies, their light brilliant. They danced in intricate patterns, creating a symphony of light. "Look, Preston!" Sawyer exclaimed, pointing to a large firefly. It flitted closer, inviting him to follow. It left a trail of stardust, illuminating Sawyer's face. He giggled, reaching out to the magical creature. Reecie barked playfully and bounded after the firefly. Her bark echoed, urging the boys to follow. They chased after Reecie, hearts filled with wonder. The trail of stardust led them deeper into the tree. The air grew warmer, thicker with the scent of honeysuckle and cinnamon. They found themselves in a chamber of pulsating flowers. The air was alive with whispers and rustling leaves. In the center stood the largest tree they had ever seen. The tree's face was etched in the bark. Its eyes twinkled with wisdom and mischief. Its beard flowed like a waterfall of moss and vines. "Welcome, young travelers," the tree said. "I have been expecting you." The boys, speechless with awe, stared at the talking tree. Reecie wagged her tail politely at the tree. The tree's voice was a deep rumble. The boys felt a sense of wonder and excitement. They knew their adventure had only just begun. "Who are you?" Preston finally managed to stammer, his voice barely a whisper. The tree chuckled, a sound like the rustling of 1,000 leaves. "I am the keeper of dreams," the tree replied, its voice a deep, comforting rumble. "And this," he gestured around the chamber with a sweep of his branch, "is the heart of the dreaming tree. It is here that dreams are born, where imagination takes flight, and where anything is possible."
"Did you bring us here?" he asked, his voice filled with childlike curiosity.
The dreaming tree nodded slowly. "You were called here," he said, his emerald eyes twinkling with amusement. "Called by the whisper of adventure, the pull of the unknown, and the boundless possibilities that lie within your own hearts." As he spoke, the bark of the tree shimmered, and an image flickered to life, revealing a familiar scene: their bedroom, bathed in the soft glow of the moon, their toys scattered across the floor. They saw their mother, her face etched with worry, searching for them. The sight of home, so familiar and comforting, brought a pang of longing to Preston's heart.
"We want to go home," Preston whispered, his voice filled with a sudden urgency. He missed the familiar scent of his mother's cookies, the comforting weight of his blankets, the sound of his mother's laughter.
The dreaming tree nodded, his expression understanding. "All dreams must eventually end," he said, "but the memories and lessons learned within them can stay with us always." The ancient tree, its emerald eyes twinkling gently, extended a branch towards the boys. Attached to it, glowing softly with the same magical light, were 2 small, intricately carved wooden boxes. One was a deep, rich brown, like the bark of the dreaming tree itself, the other a vibrant, shimmering blue, like the scales of a magical fish. "Every traveler who finds their way to the dreaming tree receives a gift," the tree whispered, its voice a comforting rumble that filled the air. "These boxes hold a piece of the magic you have felt here. They remind you that even in the waking world, dreams can still bloom."
Preston, his hand trembling slightly, reached out and took the brown box. It felt warm to the touch, as if it had a gentle heartbeat.
Sawyer, his eyes wide with wonder, eagerly accepted the blue box, his small fingers tracing the delicate carvings. "What's inside?" he asked softly, his voice filled with curiosity.
The dreaming tree smiled, his wooden features softening with warmth. "That, young dreamer," he said with a gentle chuckle, "is for you to discover. But remember, the true magic lies not in the gift itself, but in the courage to embrace your dreams, no matter how big or small." Even in magical places, sometimes things can be a bit surprising. As the boys turned to leave the chamber, they heard a gentle sound. It was a soft rustling coming from the dreaming tree. Reecie, who was chasing fireflies, paused and looked curiously. The air felt cool and Preston felt a gentle breeze on his back. The fireflies twinkled softly, and the chamber became cozy and dim. The only light came from the glowing boxes the boys held and the path behind them. Preston felt a mix of curiosity and calm. He wanted to explore, but he stayed still for a moment. "Don't be afraid," the dreaming tree said softly. "This is the fear. It lives in everyone, but it can be soothed with calm thoughts. You are brave and can face it with peace. You have already shown your bravery by coming here." The words were meant to comfort, and Preston felt a bit more at ease. "What was that?" Sawyer whispered, holding Preston's hand gently. He had never seen Reecie so curious before, not even at the neighbor's cat. The night sky, sensing their curiosity, twinkled brighter, its stars shimmering and dancing, their light gently guiding the boys. A soft hum filled the air, echoing through the forest, a sound that filled the night with a gentle enchantment. Sawyer, his face pale, nestled close to Preston, his small body trembling. "What does it want?" Preston whispered, his voice soft and soothing above the fluttering of his own heart. He held the wooden box, its warmth spreading through his palm, a small beacon of hope in the magical night. The dreaming tree's voice, though still strong, seemed farther away now, as if the night's magic were gently quieting the tree's power. "It wants to play with your dreams," the dreaming tree said, his voice gentle and kind. "It wants to dim the light of your imagination, to leave you in a world without wonder and possibility. But you have a choice. You can let your uncertainty take over, or you can face it with courage and kindness." Taking a deep breath, Preston stepped forward, placing himself gently between the unknown and his brother. He didn't feel brave, not really. His heart fluttered softly against his ribs like a bird, and his hand trembled as he held out the wooden box towards the night. "We're not afraid," he said, his voice calm and steady. It wasn't entirely true, but in that moment, he realized that courage wasn't the absence of uncertainty, but the will to face it, even when your knees shook and your heart fluttered gently in your chest. As Preston gently held out the wooden box, a warm golden light softly emerged from it, filling the chamber with a gentle, soothing glow. The magical light embraced the room, and the fireflies reappeared, their light dancing around the boys like 1,000 tiny twinkling stars. The dreaming tree, his voice filled with joy and pride, chuckled softly. "Well done, young dreamers," he whispered. "You have discovered the true power of your own imaginations. Never forget the lessons you have learned here. Embrace your dreams, for they are the seeds of possibility, the whispers of magic that reside within you all." As his words gently echoed through the chamber, the bark of the dreaming tree shimmered once more, and the swirling portal reappeared, filling the chamber with its otherworldly light. Reecie, her tail wagging gently, bounded towards the portal, pausing to look back at the boys, as if urging them to follow. Taking one last look at the dreaming tree, his emerald eyes twinkling with warmth and wisdom, Preston took Sawyer's hand, and together, they stepped into the swirling vortex of light, their hearts filled with wonder, their minds abuzz with the memories of their extraordinary adventure. The portal gently closed behind them, and they found themselves standing in their backyard, the familiar scent of grass and moonlight filling their senses. The night air, cool and gentle, brought a sense of calm. The moon, a quiet friend to their adventure, bathed the backyard in its soft silver glow. Preston looked around, his senses still tingling with the gentle magic of the dreaming tree. Their ordinary backyard had never seemed so magical. The grass shimmered with dew, each droplet reflecting the moonlight like tiny stars. The trees swayed gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering soft secrets. Even the chirping of crickets seemed to sing a soothing lullaby.
"We're back," he whispered softly. It was as if they had stepped out of a dream and into a peaceful, magical world. "Sawyer?"
See? I told you it would be all right.
He reached down, stroking her soft fur, feeling comfort in her presence. They had explored together, shared a wonderful adventure, and their friendship had grown even stronger. Silently, hand in hand, clutching their wooden boxes as if they held the very essence of their journey, the brothers made their way back to the house. The back door stood ajar, just as they had left it. A sliver of warm light spilled out from the kitchen, a beacon of warmth and familiarity. They could hear the soft sound of their mother's voice, her tone filled with gentle concern. A wave of realization washed over Preston. He hadn't considered how much their mother would miss them. He pushed open the door and they stepped inside, the scent of their mother's cinnamon rolls washing over them like a warm embrace. Their mother was at the kitchen table, her face etched with gentle concern, a half-eaten plate of cookies resting in front of her. Relief softened her features as she looked up and saw her sons standing in the doorway, safe and sound.
"Preston! Sawyer!" their mother called softly, rushing towards them, her arms encircling them in a hug that spoke volumes of her love and relief. "Where have you two been? We were so worried."
"We just went for a walk," Preston mumbled, avoiding his mother's eyes. He didn't know how to explain where they had been, how to put into words an experience that was so magical and wonderful. How could he possibly describe a talking tree, a sky filled with dancing fireflies that weren't really fireflies at all? Their parents, happy to have their sons back safe and sound, sensed that something was different. They exchanged gentle glances, a quiet acknowledgement that something special had happened.
"Did you have an adventure?" he asked with a soft smile. Preston hesitated, then nodded slowly, holding his wooden box close. He knew, deep down, that some secrets were meant to be kept safe, tucked away in the treasure chest of their shared experience.
"It was wonderful," he said softly, his eyes sparkling with the memory. "We saw a tree that talked and fireflies that danced among the stars."
Their parents smiled, exchanging another gentle glance. They didn't ask for more details, understanding that some stories were best left untold, their magic preserved in the whispers of the wind and the twinkling of the stars. Later, tucked into their beds, their wooden boxes held close, bathed in the soft glow of their nightlight, Preston and Sawyer shared a knowing smile. The night stretched before them, not just for sleep, but a gateway to a world where dreams took flight, where imagination knew no bounds. They knew, with a certainty that defied logic, that the magic of the dreaming tree would stay with them always, a reminder that even in the ordinary, the extraordinary was never too far away.